All right, so I have some thoughts on inflation right now in some items to contextualize its existence and how bad it is and why it's bad and why it might not get better. But if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe down below. Like the video and leave a comment down below when the video is done. So one thing I actually forgot about was that Joe Biden is from Delaware, and he's been a senator before president, before vice president. He was a senator for decades in Delaware. And Delaware, a lot of people don't really remember or process this. Delaware has the most friendly corporate laws on the books in the states. They're the most relaxed, the most charitable. If you're a corporation in America, you want to set up in Delaware, right? That's where you're going to maximize your profits. And when we look back, like I said, decades and decades, Joe Biden has been making inroads as a Delaware legislator, as a Delaware senator, and, making laws for these people, in building the inroads, in I'm contextualizing this with what we're seeing now. When we're seeing record profits, we're seeing price gouging like we've never seen before. Corporate profits are at an all-time high. It just kind of hit me like a brick. Corporations have their guy in the White House right now. If there was anybody in the United States that corporations would want in the White House, it would literally be the guy there now, Joe Biden, who has cultivated and worked with, alongside, creating this corporate haven in Delaware where corporations get everything they want. They can exploit anybody in that state, just get away with the worst of the worst. And right now, those corporations are saying, that's our guy in there. Let's price gouge like we've never price gouged before. Let's raise prices through the roof. He's not going to rein us in. We've been buddies with this guy for literally decades. He's not going to rein us in. He's not going to do a damn thing. And you know what? They'd be right. Now, I know Biden is saying, the wealthy have to pay their fair share. He kind of co-opted the Bernie Sanders language from the 2020 campaign. And my thoughts on Joe Biden saying the super wealthy are going to pay their fair share, corporations and billionaires are going to pay their fair share, is nothing more than virtue signaling. It's nothing more than Joe Biden appeasing progressives like us who want that to happen, who have heard Bernie say it for years and years and years. Like, it makes us feel good. Like, oh, he's going to do something. It's really going to happen. Nope. It's not going to happen. Because the filibuster is still in play in the Senate. The filibuster requires 10 Republicans to sign on to any pieces of major legislation. That would be in play here. Is there going to be 10 Republicans signing up to put corporations in their place? Really? Can you name one senator that would? I can't name one. So when I hear Joe Biden say, you're going to pay your fair share, you rascals at the top 1%, me wag my fist a little bit harder at you. Joe mad. Nothing but pure virtue signaling to appease the progressive left-wing base. Nothing more. It can't be anything more than that. Nothing can happen there. And it actually gets worse. Somehow it gets worse than this. I thought I was done with like the bad news. No, it gets worse, because when the right wing says Trump would be better on the economy and inflation, I actually believe that. And I'm somebody who despises Trump. Trump is the face of American fascism, okay? He's purely anti-democracy. He's already proved that, okay? He's a lunatic. He shouldn't be running a popsicle stand, let alone being the president of the United States, okay? The guy is a criminal. He's a lunatic. He's a fascist. And I'm saying he actually would be better than Joe Biden on the economy and inflation, because Joe Biden is so close to these corporations, so close to this 1% of the population, that he's married to them. He has worked with them his whole life in the state of Delaware, where he has built the inroads to get them all of their power and to suppress the working class. He's been there for them every day for decades. And you think that's going to change now? It doesn't work that way. Are you kidding me? You don't reach the mountaintop to turn your back on the people you've propped up for literally decades, who actually propped you up with their corrupt campaign donations, okay? That isn't how this works. Don't be a fool. I'm not going to be a fool. But that's so sad that Trump would likely be better than Biden. And the number one thing that voters are concerned about in every poll, whoa, I just squeaked, in every poll, is the economy. And that is one thing where Trump could do some work there. If his working class base of MAGA people are hurting, they're going to petition him to rein in some corporations. I guarantee you he would do a better job than Joe Biden, who is married to these corporations, who's been married to these corporations for decades. This is a bad situation, guys. You know, we wanted a strong liberal front with Bernie Sanders, somebody who was going to rein in power. And now we have a weak liberal front with Joe Biden. And when we look back at history, weak liberal fronts disintegrate like dust in the face of right-wing populism and in the face of fascism. You can look throughout history and find all the examples you need. And even strong liberal fronts will fall too. When Germany fell in the 30s, that was a strong liberal front. Germany was like one of the most progressive countries in Europe at the time. So even strong liberal fronts, the one that Bernie's vision entailed, could still crumble in the face of right-wing populism and fascism. So I'm worried going into November. I don't know. How are we going to get Joe Biden's corpse across the finish line? I don't know. Maybe women will show up and save the day. After 180 million women lost federally protected abortion rights, maybe that'll be the factor. I don't know. But this inflation thing, the number one thing that voters across the board agree is the number one grievance with voters right now, the economy and inflation. It's not good. Joe Biden is not one of us. He is one of them. He's always been one of them. He's worked for one of them. I don't know how we pull him away from his roots in the Senate. Decades upon decades upon decades of letting these corporations rule over us without any penalties, without being reined in, just like us, letting us be price gouged. Just, it's been a nightmare. And I just don't see how Joe gets across the finish line. The Gaza nightmare, it's It's endless with this guy. Anyways, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I hope you're having a lovely day. Get outside, look at nature, go for a walk, get your head out of the news feed for a while. Life can still be good and beautiful and all those wonderful things. Don't let it get you down. Stay positive, and I'll talk to you soon.